Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Rooster Teeth podcast. I'm Barbara, and on today's show we have...
I'm Cole.
I'm Geoff.
I'm Joe.
And I'm Barbara. Hi, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Gus today.
Hi, Gus.
How's it feel?
I hate it.
Yeah.
I hosted Always Open for like 4 years. Hosting the RT podcast is completely different.
Hosting another person's show is rough.
It's
Yeah,
very,
it's like,
yeah.
you have to like, oh God, okay, I have to read a card. I remember I hosted Chump once, and I was like,
Oh my
this is a
God.
disaster. And I was like, no, this is exactly what we wanted.
That's how I felt with Off Topic.
You did Off Topic.
Yeah, you
I
did host
hosted
that,
Off
right?
Topic for Michael when he was, I think he was in Chicago at the time for the Face Jam podcast. And yeah, that was rough. It was a shit show.
Yeah?
I don't even know.
Have you ever seen it when he hosts it?
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. It was worse than that.
That's hard to believe.
It was pretty bad.
I thought you did a great job.
Oh, well, thank you.
I watched it.
I don't know if it was great, but thank you. Thank you
I
so
would
much.
say it was at least an A-.
I'll say this. We renewed the 24-hour contract
Yeah.
after you did it.
Still here.
Still there. Yeah. He
Yeah.
gets his contract auto-renewed every day.
You do?
Yeah. That's
on a one-day
something that
contract.
Geoff has said like very, very consistently is that like I'm not on like, you know how like people just like normally get employment and then you're here until you screw up.
Yeah, salary.
Well, mine is just like 24 hours and it's like, you did a good job today. Maybe we'll just do another 24
Cole's
hours.
on the same contract,
Yeah.
Wow.
weirdly enough.
I thought you were still an intern.
Oh my God. You get paid here?
You paid in Gatorade.
Wait,
Oh, they have the cool Gatorades
you guys
out
get
there.
drinks? I don't
What do you mean
get
a
water.
cool Gatorades?
That's in year
They're
2.
like a can, and they look like I thought they looked cool, and then it said throwback.
oh.
So that's how I could tell it was a cool Gatorade.
Oh, you mean the soda can Gatorades?
Yeah.
Yeah, those are cool. Those are neat.
That's a throwback? That's a thing that used to exist? Canned Gatorades?
That's what they used to look like back in the day.
How long ago? Was I born yet?
I was in high school, so maybe
no.
not. I don't know. It was definitely like that in the 90s.
Okay.
Must have been like
Early
right before I
90s.
was born.
Maybe, yeah.
Who knows?
Are you a youngin?
Yeah, I'm 25. Born
Oh
in
my God.
96. Yeah, I know. I'm the youngin. I'm not the youngest one though.
Oh, no. You are
No,
not.
I'm not.
Not
so,
by far.
Bless the Lord.
You're
know.
almost half my age.
Well,
Oh, my God.
is that weird to think about?
21 years younger than me. This
Wow.
motherfucker over here.
Wow.
But you look younger.
I
than
do.
Me.
Thank you.
You do. You look great.
You look great, Jeff.
Everybody looks great. Compliments around. Everybody looks fantastic.
I pride myself on feeling like I look younger than I am. A little bit. Just a little bit. Like, not by much. Maybe like a year or two.
Yeah.
And someone was doing my makeup for something this week. And we were talking about, like, age and high school and stuff like that. And she's like, oh, how old are you? Because I think you're probably around the age of my friend Charlie. And I was like, oh, I'm 32. And she goes, oh, my friend Charlie's 36. And I went, oh, that's sad. You thought I was 36. Oh, my God.
I would argue that 32 and 36 are around the same age.
No.
I don't
I think so.
I don't
Oh,
think...
man. After 30, that stuff stops counting like that.
I feel like 34, I would say like 30 to 34, I would say maybe looks similar. But like once you get over 35, I think that's when you start to
So you're saying like 35 is like the death age?
maybe.
Is that a goalpost that you keep pushing? Like, did it start at 30 and you're once you're 30, that's when you look older. And then you hit 30, you're like, no, it's 35.
It definitely did. Yeah. Yeah. I remember being like 22 and being like, man, 28 is so old.
Are you still carded?
I am.
I got carded this weekend. I was buying mead at the Ren Fair.
I mean, you are forever young.
Yeah.
Forever little young boy.
Though in my life, I've been carded more buying video games than I have alcohol.
What?
Have you bought more video games than alcohol?
At this point, it can't be the case.
Okay.
What? But you get carded for? Oh well, I guess yeah.
Yeah, M-rated games. No, it was like
Yeah,
I
you
was
can.
like 28 going to buy like Halo or something. They're like, "Could I see your ID, sir?" And I was like,
No way.
"No." And they're like, "Why?" And they're like, "This is an M-rated game,
even I don't
sir."
get
I'm like,
carded.
oh,
What is that, 18?
yeah. It's 17, 18.
So I thought you were under 17?
I have no idea how.
Man, boys look so young. You guys age like fine wine.
Well,
I age like already spoiled milk. Like it's already spoiled and then it just gets worse. It just like solidifies and then
see, I wouldn't even
Crusts.
say like looking at you that you look like you're in your 30s. I thought you were in your 20s when I first met you.
Joe's my new favorite.
No, in all seriousness though, like I had no idea.
Oh, thank you.
So,
Oh, that means a
How do
lot.
you think I look?
oof. I don't know.
Oh, no.
16.
Can't buy those
That's
Emery
games. Yeah.
How are you, Jeff?
Yeah.
Who, me?
Yeah.
How am I?
I haven't seen you in a while.
Is that true? Have we seen each other recently?
I don't know, podcast content.
I haven't seen you. In a
See,
while.
I don't-
How Jeff? How?
Cole, I don't think I've seen you in like 4 years, buddy.
I think that may be too
Definitely
soon.
pre-pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay. How are you?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I realized I was getting ready for today. I wasn't supposed to do this until yesterday. And so I found out yesterday I was doing this. And I thought, I should come up with all the stuff I'm going to talk about. So I looked at my notes. I have a ton of stuff to talk about, but it's all related to the other thing I do.
It's all
and
related
so it
to
wouldn't
the-
make sense.
To the face podcast?
Yeah, the face thing. So I'm at a bit of a loss for what to discuss.
We could be your testing ground for the stories.
How do you guys... All right, let me ask you guys a question. What do you think the perfect cup looks like? You ever thought about cups?
It needs finger grips.
Like,
What?
are we talking cup or glass?
I'm talking cups specifically.
Like plastic.
I'm done with glasses.
Okay.
I bought when I moved into my new house a couple years ago now. I bought like 12 glasses, right? And I'm down to like 4. I pulled another one out of the dishwasher, cracked, and I'm just sick of glasses breaking. So I thought, fuck this. I'm going back to plastic. Plastic doesn't break.
Yeah.
Well, eventually. But the half-life on plastic is way longer than glass, right? And so I started thinking about cups and trying to figure out what the perfect cup is. And I don't know. And I've been polling people. Everybody has everybody has an opinion. I'd like to get y'all's.
My opinion is, and Joe, you might not know these yet, but the plastic reusable take-home Rudy's cup.
It is so funny you say that. That is the number one answer of almost everybody I've
Really?
asked. Yeah.
It's because we have so many of them, because
Yeah.
a lot of restaurants in Austin have that exact cup. It's like the same
Hot
cup
Dotties,
blank.
Rudy's.
I think,
not Hot Dotties. Mighty Fine.
Mighty Fine.
Yeah. Mighty Fine has them.
And it's just like standard size. You could put your whole hand around it, pretty much, hold it well. There's some like of the bigger cups that are a little too big. Because if that's full of liquid, you kind of need 2 hands to hold it.
So I went to Zuzu the other day, and they had plastic cups, and you could take them home if you buy them. So I did, and it's like the Rudy's cup, but it's bigger. It might be what you're describing, but I have,
Man hands.
I got man hands, so I find it to be quite enthralling. And now I'm trying to figure out how to get more without having to go to Zuzu every day, or maybe I want to collect a bunch of. I don't know. I got cups on the brain lately.
Or you could like take some people there and be like, you got to give me your cups.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. I think the best cup is Joe.
Well, I don't know the cup you guys are talking about. I've been to Rudy's.
Jesus Christ.
I've been to Rudy's, but I didn't get a drink there. So
How do you go to a restaurant and not get a drink?
because at the time I was like trying to cut out like
Did you do, like, a
soda
cup of
and
water?
Stuff, so I just like
Hydrating?
Yeah,
What?
just got water.
Yeah.
Cut out liquids.
Yeah, all together.
Yeah, you could do the little water cup that they give you.
Yeah.
You don't get the Rudy's cup though for that.
Yeah, but you get like a little tiny little
They
plastic.
give you like a
water
shot
cup.
glass for that.
Yeah,
basically.
but I think the perfect cup for me, it would be like like those glasses where they're like kind of rounded at the bottom, like a little
margarita
flat
glass?
end, they're rounded and they come up like this. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
like
Lemon
that,
flask?
but just
But
plastic.
plastic.
Just plastic.
Interesting. That's probably
Interesting.
the only answer of that, I imagine.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that one before. It's pretty much mostly Rudy's cups.
Are you like inventing your own glass right now? Like this
Yeah,
doesn't
I'm
exist
thinking.
yet?
I'm thinking
Okay,
about
yeah.
getting a patent for it.
Well, listen,
Go on Shark Tank.
we have a company that does that. It's called Uniform. And it's a fuck.
Sorry,
this
we
thing.
don't talk about that
We
podcast.
invent products there. I'll be inventing some cups soon. That's why I'm partially why I'm taking all your feedback. Your idea just got stolen. Thank you.
Are we going to sell the perfect cup in there?
I'm going to push
Going to
very
s-
hard
to sell the
for us
perfect-
to sell the perfect cup.
It's got
my
to be
God.
called the perfect cup. That has to be the
It's already
title.
got a name, but I can't talk about it. Oh. Andrew and I came up with
It
it last
definitely
night.
has to tell you whatever's in it.
It'll say a lot about it. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. It will. I'm really jazzed about it.
Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to see my cup come to
That's
life
the problem.
without my name on it.
Right. It should be called the Joe cup.
Well, no, if it was my cup, I'd call it the perfect cup of Joe.
Oh.
Steal that.
All ideas that are presented on this podcast are owned by Rooster Teeth Productions LLC.
I have a question I've been saving for the RT podcast to ask people on the RT podcast of something I've been seeing circulated around social media. And I think
Drama?
it might have been brought up before you. I don't know if you guys
Don't
have
do
talked
it.
about it on Fuckface.
Don't do it.
Do you think there are more
No.
wheels or doors in the world?
This has been a major topic of discussion in my house because my girlfriend is also on TikTok.
Okay.
And apparently that's a big damn deal right now. Mm-hmm. We went and counted all the wheels and doors in the house.
And?
What was there more of?
Wheels. Way more doors. I had 55 doors in my house, something like 20-something wheels.
Oh, are we talking like cabinets and stuff?
Cabinet doors count.
That's the
Drawers don't, but doors do.
every time this
I
conversation
thought we were
comes
just
up,
talking about like handled doors, like
Fridge
that's
is
still a door.
person-sized doors.
That's for some people.
Door's a
That is
door.
a door. Some people are that sized.
People are counting Hot Wheels wheels as wheels. So if you're going to count that, you got to be able to count like cabinet doors.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I forgot about toys.
Or like wheels on you have like a kitchen island table. Mm-hmm. You have wheels on that.
I already
I still
see
think
the
it's
chat
wheels.
being really angry.
I still think it's wheels.
You think it's wheels?
Yeah.
I guess because every car has 4 wheels, but not every car, a lot of cars have 4 doors.
Or 5.
5.
Or 5.
Or 5.
But then you think about like,
And then there's also a spare in the trunk.
maybe there's a hangar, right, where it's only got like a couple points of entry,
Mm-hmm.
right, and then the big hangar doors. But inside, it's a mass collection of Hot Wheels.
How?
You also have desk chairs that have like 4 or 5 wheels.
Yeah, it's like 6 million wheels to like 7 doors. You know what I mean?
What if some of those Hot Wheels have articulating doors?
Fuck. Just put a hole in my argument.
I think of it like this. With the exception of a motorcycle or a bicycle, I guess we say every car has doors. Maybe a dune buggy doesn't, but how many dune buggies are there in the world, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, every car has at least 2 doors.
Yeah.
Every car has 4 wheels, well, probably 5 wheels if you've got a spare. So there is some potential disparity there. But But there are houses all over the world with 0 wheels. I guarantee you.
See, I guess I wouldn't call a cabinet a door.
According to my girlfriend, it fits the letter of the definition.
What would you?
I just thought it would
What
be
is
like
that? What is that thing that you're opening? Is it a cabinet door?
It's a cabinet door.
cabinet.
But it's
I
a
think
cabinet
it's just like
door.
a different.
There's a
The
Qualifier.
entire thing is the cabinet.
That's why there's a difference between like a door and a doorway.
Yeah.
You know, like the cabinet is the actual thing, and then that's the cabinet door.
Yeah.
Jeff did not count correctly if he got 20 wheels. Fuck you, I did too. I know how to count. I know exactly how many wheels are in my house. Very few.
Did you count like desk chair wheels?
I don't have any desk chair wheels.
Oh, you're fancy.
No,
You don't got a wheelie chair?
I just don't have a lot of wheels in my house.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Count the wheels on the bottom of your refrigerator.
My fridge doesn't have wheels.
Mine doesn't have wheels.
What? You guys don't have fridges where when they're installing them, it's like there's
No,
those little
they were like, we're installing this. Pick it now. It's there forever.
I bought a new refrigerator today.
Today?
Oh, finally.
kind?
After how long of that old one being a
Well,
difficult thing?
here's the problem.
Oh no.
This will also be content for the other podcast. But I priced out a fridge last year, Joe. But for the space that I need it's a very expensive, very big fridge. It has to be this certain sized Sub-Zero fridge. And it's like buying a car, right? And so I didn't pull the trigger because my lumpy ass old fridge still kind of works. Some of it works. Enough of it works that I don't want to spend that money. But when I didn't buy it, they told me you should come in and you should buy it now because the lead time because of supply chain issues, it's like 8 weeks. It could be 2 months before you get your fridge.
Yeah.
So I went back today and I said, you know what, I'm going to pull the trigger on that fridge. And they said, okay, it'll be here next February.
No.
That's a lot longer than 8 weeks.
It's a lot longer than 8
And
weeks
it's
now.
currently
Supply chain's
mid-March?
Yeah, it's a year.
Holy shit.
Yeah. I gave them all the money today, though.
Okay. Well, now
And
you
in a
can't change your
year-
mind and find a fridge you can get sooner.
In a year, I'll find out if that fridge fits.
All right. I can't wait.
And if it doesn't,
Then I will, I guess, send it back and wait another year.
When
I
in
don't know.
February is it coming?
They didn't give me a specific date. They just said early February.
Well, we got to schedule for the RT podcast.
The
get a
fridge
fridge
fitting.
update.
I guess. Yeah, my fridge
Yeah.
fitting.
Exactly.
Ay, ay.
Live stream it, maybe.
It's the fridge fit.
is it like a commercial size fridge?
It'd
Yeah.
be so funny if it didn't fit.
Yeah.
Too
You
big.
waited a year for it.
for some of us.
I feel like you would sooner just get a new house.
Like I spilled some salsa out of it today, my existing fridge, and I was on the ground like cleaning it, and I was like, "This thing is." It came with the house, and the house is 100 years old, so the fridge is close to that.
Okay.
And but it it still mostly functions. Barbara's seen it. It does the
a great
majority of the
fridge.
things
It's
it
a good
does. It doesn't illuminate
Cold
things.
drinks?
Yeah.
It doesn't. It makes ice, but the ice is full of rust, so we don't eat the ice. It doesn't it doesn't spray water anymore. And if it did, I certainly wouldn't drink it. But it keeps eggs cold and whatnot. It's missing about half of its shelves because they keep breaking from, I guess, extreme age. But anyway, so I was cleaning it this morning and I was looking and I was like, this thing is just fucking old and sucky.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go to the store and I'm just going to say, screw it. I'll take out a loan if I have to, and I'll buy this stupid fridge. And then so I did, and I felt so good about myself. And then the lady goes, all right, you'll have it in a year. And I thought, fuck me.
Is there a chance it could come sooner?
Can't win for losing.
There's always
No.
a chance. There's always a chance.
Yeah.
It's
She
supply
told
chain
me,
issues.
I asked that. I said, what are the chances I might come a little early? And she said, it's far more likely to be significantly later than
That's it's probably going to be 2 Februaries from now.
You know what this reminds me of?
Well,
Whenever I try to schedule a haircut or hair color with your girlfriend,
my girlfriend. Yeah.
who owns the salon and is always booked up, and it's like, oh
Busy
yeah, we have
lady.
availability in June, and I go, okay.
You know what sucks about that too? It'll be like, hey, I was thinking let's go to Vegas for the weekend. She'll go like, when do you want to go? And I'm like, I don't know, like maybe in a month. And she's like, yeah, I'm booked up through July.
Yeah.
So you have to tell me when you want to go on vacations 4 or 5 months in advance so that I can set the time aside. So I get stung by it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very, very popular.
The salon must be popping.
Yeah, it's popping as
I
they say.
might need to know where that is because I'm trying to bleach my hair again.
Well, they can do that for you next February.
I was gonna say,
Do you need
once
for
you-
next year's RTX?
Yeah, for next year, not this year.
Think you're gonna go back to the bleach?
Yeah,
It's a good
I want to
look.
go back to. Well, I have to do like a rose color, something that
Rose color.
I owe to my community that on streaming and stuff. And
Oh, is this like a donation thing level that you hit?
Stretch
that-
goal.
yeah, it was something that they did towards like the middle of last year, and I just didn't get done because life was just so crazy. I was like, I don't want to go get my hair dyed right now. So
Your haircut looks really good, by the way.
Thank you.
You just got it right.
yeah, it's a little all over the place right now though. Like I don't know what's going on. My hair's like super wavy right now, so it's just kind of like flopping over and going this way
It's a
and
good
going
look.
that way.
I feel like a lot of people would be envious of that hairstyle.
I mean, it's just
It's just effortlessly.
All natural.
fabulous.
I made the mistake of deciding to bleach my hair because I wanted to be very, very blonde, and then realizing that I'm too pale for it because I turned into all one color. And then I was like, I want to go back to like my more natural color. And so we went to that. I realized that it's not exactly my natural color, so my roots are growing out a little bit, and my roots are just a little bit lighter than this color, so it looks like I'm graying. Because like if you have like kind of blonde coming in with like a brownish blonde, it almost looks like it's
A noticeably
gray.
lighter color.
Yeah. At the very, very roots. So I'm like, I don't know what to do about that. And I can't see Emily until 2023, so like,
That's like might be even later. Than
Yeah.
Yeah, that's no chance of earlier.
Just embrace it and go full gray like Johnny Knoxville did.
I would.
Yeah.
I would. I feel like a lot of people could pull off the gray really good.
Yeah.
You pull off the gray real good.
Oh, thanks.
Got some salt and pepper in the beard.
Dude, I just got my beard shaved today by my girlfriend. And it was like, it just looked like an old dying man's pubes on the ground. It was just all gray beard hair. Yeah, I didn't realize how gray I was until I saw it, until I swept it up.
Until you swept up
Pretty gray.
the old man pubes.
Yeah.
Cole's going to be forever young. Are you graying at all?
Maybe, I don't know. Every time I look, I'm like, is that gray? I'm like, no, I just have bad lights.
Yeah. Bad lights.
I have a ton of gray hairs.
Do you?
You do?
Really?
At
Yeah,
25?
when I like push my hair the other way, it's just like a lot of white hairs. I have a ton.
So you're just all hiding it.
Destiny always tells me she's always just like, you're gonna be like salt and peppered by the time you're 30. I'm like,
Yeah.
no, no.
Don't you say
It's all
that.
Stress. It's
Yeah.
all stress.
I think it's very cool gray hair. I wish people were more accepting of it.
No, gray hair is actually it's a look.
Especially, I feel like it's a really good look when you have like very, very dark hair and then some like sprinkling. That's a good look. I'm into it. I dig it.
That's why Geoff is such a handsome man.
Well, let's not go that far.
Oh. It's all the gray.
Oh my God. I had so many Red Bulls this week.
Did you?
I think I might have messed up my system.
So you were on you probably can't talk about it too much, but you were on a big shoot this last week.
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
A few of us, we were doing a big shoot for something that hopefully you'll see maybe around the summertime, maybe a little earlier than that. But it was like one of those shoots that was like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day. And I was like, gotta bust out the Red Bulls. And then I realized by like day 3 of the shoot that I hadn't pooped.
That's the Red Bull.
in 3 days. And I went, I should probably stop drinking Red Bull because I was just having like 1 or 2 a day, which is probably more than anyone should have at any point in time.
See, I had 2 just this morning because I was
Yeah.
so tired.
I've had 3 Monsters in that Red Bull today.
I was shaking though. Like after I was
I
like,
cured myself. I went on vacation to Mexico, and now I wake up at 7 and go to bed at midnight. I don't know what happened.
I hate you, Cole. I hate you so much. But also, Geoff, don't do that.
I've been doing that since they've been in
You said you had
existence.
2 Monsters.
3, I think.
3
I had
Monsters
today.
and a Red Bull
I had
today?
2 white ones, the orange one, and then I had that Red Bull, and I'll probably have something else.
What's the best
Thirsty.
monster? What's the best monster flavor? We've been talking about it a lot recently in the animation.
I'm a white Monster stan. I really dig them. But I've been drinking the orange one lately. It's kind of like creamsicle. I really dig it. I really, really dig it. The pink one's okay, but I don't.
Is that the Froze Rose?
I think so. Yeah. But I tend to stick to the 10-calorie ones, so I'm more limited in the palate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy because there's like 50 flavors, and
Yeah.
half of them are coffee.
Yeah, I can't roll with any of the coffee
No,
stuff.
they're not good.
No, it's not. The purple one's all right. Have you ever had the purple one? Yeah.
I discovered a new monster flavor. It's like the mango one of the mango ones that they have. It's actually really good.
Really?
I don't know what the flavor is called. It's like a bright blue can with like, I think, yellow
Yeah, the
lettering.
It's like the Fiesta flavor or something.
Yeah, I don't know what
Yeah.
it is.
Mango's really hit or miss. I
It
feel
either tastes like
in
mango
soda.
or it tastes like a fruit you don't know, but
Yeah.
it's there.
I feel like it's usually hit over miss.
You think so?
Mango,
I think
yeah,
most
that's
of the
a safe
time,
I like
bet.
yeah.
mangoes, but mango flavored stuff sometimes is like wildly different than what I feel like a mango tastes like.
You had a pineapple flavored Red Bull this weekend.
I did.
Yeah, we had lunch together. Me, Trevor, Joe, and his lady.
Yes.
I don't know if you've said her name publicly.
have.
Okay.
Destiny.
Destiny.
Yeah.
We went to Haymaker. It was very nice.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time there. The food's great.
Introduced Destiny to the habanero pickled egg,
So good.
which is my favorite.
Do they still have the Fluffer Nutter Cristo there?
I don't think they did,
Oh, that's too bad.
unless I wasn't looking hard.
On the dessert menu?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I saw that.
I used to eat there all the time.
Yeah, there's some good food there. We had poutine, of course.
I didn't try it. I love poutine, but I didn't want to steal any from Destiny, so I was just like,
It's like her whole
yeah,
meal.
because when we got in the car, she was like, "I'm sorry, I should have let you have a bite."
How does
I ate
that
all of it.
poutine compare to like Canadian poutine? I've heard-
Honestly, it's not bad. It's not the right type of French fries
okay.
that we use in Canada typically for poutine, but in Austin, it's probably the closest you could get. I would
It's
say.
been my only experience, except for like one restaurant. It's like we can do poutine, and it wasn't. It was like deli cheese cubes and
Like queso instead
Yeah.
of the...
How come there aren't like Austin's full of Mexican restaurants, Tex-Mex restaurants, Italian restaurants, Chinese restaurants? How come there's no Canadian restaurants?
Like in Austin or just in
Haymaker's
general?
like the only one.
I mean, I guess Tim Hortons is the only one I can think of.
I think it's because there's not really enough Canadian-specific cuisine to make like an entire restaurant out of. Because like Canadian cuisine is very similar to American cuisine in a lot of ways. Like we do burgers and sandwiches. And all
What
that
else
kind of
is
stuff.
like
There's like
Canadian?
but there's like California cuisine in Texas, and there's like New York like style pizzas and like New York style food. So
There's probably no Canadian restaurants because we don't want to get in the way. We don't want to take up space.
That gets me thinking though, like obviously poutine's a big one, and I assume you would order your milk in a bag at the restaurant. But what else is like? What is like? I've been to Montreal and I've had that brisket at the place that you recommended, which was phenomenal and very different from
Schwartz's.
Texas. Schwartz's, that's it. Very different from Texas brisket, and super valid in its own way, and in some ways just as good. But what else is like uniquely Canadian from a food standpoint?
The only other thing I could think of off the top of my head would be beaver tails,
Okay.
which sounds hilarious, but it's not what it's a pastry basically. So it's
Okay.
a flat, like kind of shaped like a beaver tail pastry that's typically fried and has like cinnamon sugar on it. Very popular when people are out ice skating.
Really?
And there's a few restaurants in Canada that I've been to that make like gourmet beaver tails. So they'll have like different toppings and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay.
That was yummy.
Reese's Pieces.
Maple syrup is also another one.
Syrup, of course.
Canada, everyone knows that.
I'm sure I'm missing something very obvious, and if there are any Canadians in the chat, please feel free to.
It's just something I never
Chime
thought
in.
of before. But you go to Australia and they're like, you gotta have kangaroo, and you're like, all right.
First time I went to Australia, I had kangaroo.
Of course you do. They require it.
It's gamey,
Yeah.
but it's good.
I don't imagine it was like real, but I went to like Oh, there was like a burger place in town that used to like specialize in. We have one big game burger at every restaurant, like every one of the chains, and it was like this one we got kangaroo. I was like, well, I gotta try a kangaroo burger. I was like, this tastes just like the ingredients. Like it tastes just like tomatoes, lettuce, pickles. So I was like, I don't know if I'm getting anything from this.
Yeah.
That's like buffalo. Like how Colorado, there's a lot of restaurants that
Does
serve
eat
buffalo.
Oh, like real buffalo.
Hunter 559 says a lot of American foods originated in Canada.
I believe
Really?
Interesting. I'd love to know what those are. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. America is, if we're good at one thing, it's stealing shit from other cultures and reappropriating it as our own.
Yeah. Very true. I'd be curious to know what exactly they're referring to.
Yeah, me too.
Probably a bunch of stuff. Healthcare.
Probably.
that. We haven't sold that yet.
Yeah, but yeah. We're not doing a very good job of stealing that.
You stole it and then made people pay for it.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun. It was good. Good little lunch.
Yeah.
But you got a Red Bull with lunch?
Well, no, it's just like because we had gone to an outing the night before.
We went to the South by event.
The South by event, and then I know that I had more than I wanted to drink that night, so I woke up and I was tired. I woke up. I didn't realize. First of all, I didn't realize daylight savings time was Sunday.
For
Right.
real.
I woke up and it was like an hour before we have to meet, and I was like, "There's no way that I slept like almost 12 hours."
Holy
Yeah.
shit. That must have been beautiful, though.
No. I was confused when I woke up. Yeah, I was like, oh, what time is it? I was like, oh, it doesn't look that late, and it's like 12, and I was like, oh god, I gotta go.
I was telling Joe earlier today, I had a nightmare last night that I died. I don't know if it's like daylight savings and like your sleep schedule being like slightly off, like messes up with my dreams and nightmares and stuff like that. But it was one of those things where I was in a car crash and I was like dead. And in my subconscious, it was like, hey, like get out of this, like just step out and like wake up, basically, like get up.
Oh, so you were like almost
And
like lucid dreaming?
And then I like woke up. And we were talking about how, like, is that you dying in your sleep?
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, maybe you just died in your sleep and you actually came back to life when you woke up.
Maybe.
It's just so creepy. I hate that, though, because I sometimes have those nightmares that feel so real while you're in them. And then waking up and realizing that it's not real is probably the most relieving feeling of all time.
Yes. Yeah. Or there's like nightmares that are very confusing when you wake up. Like a nightmare where you do an entire day's worth of work, and then you wake up and you haven't done that day's work. I was like, this is the worst day, everything's going wrong, and then I wake up, it's like, oh, that's the foresight of what could go wrong.
It's funny I'll bring this up because I have been thinking about dying a lot lately for like the last couple months or so. And so I've been reading a lot about people who have died and then come back to life.
Really?
And not because I'm dying that I'm aware of or anything.
I was gonna say,
it just
like,
got
do
on
you
my,
wanna talk about
I don't know why, it just got in my head. You know, I'm getting older. And so I've been doing a lot of reading, and with virtually every story I've read from somebody who died and was resuscitated and brought back to life makes dying sound pretty okay. Like they were good
Like
before
they
they got brought
felt
back.
happy?
Kind of like Buffy in season 5 or whatever when she died. Sorry if you haven't. It's 30 years old. And they brought her back and she was like, I was so happy dead. Like everybody's like, no, it was cool. It was comfortable. I felt at peace. It was nice. It was kind of a bummer to come back to life. So now I think dying's going to be all right. I'm not worried about it. Oh, there's so many stories that make it sound totally fun.
I mean, you can't really do anything about it once it happens.
It's true.
Like, and you don't know that it happened once it happens because you're
Well, we don't know.
no conscious.
Who knows?
That's true.
True.
You never know.
That's why you don't know if you
But I
died in
mean,
your sleep or not.
realistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
Well, no, because you knew you died in. Wait, okay, yeah. So in the dream you died, but you didn't know if you died in real life.
Right.
Okay.
Which you might have,
I might have.
but briefly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
And
my
then come
brain
back.
woke me back
Yeah,
up.
But that wasn't
might
very
have
peaceful
flatlined
then.
for like 5 seconds.
Yeah, like maybe my brain just like stopped and then
Yeah.
it went. Not yet.
Trevor
then-
poked you and was like,
But
hey,
then that wasn't peaceful
come back.
because it was like a car crash.
Right. It was weird. It was a weird car crash though. The car like floated up and then like bounced and then like did a thing. Very realistic.
Unlike Buffy's mom. That's sad. Why would you say that? So y'all mentioned South by Southwest. Did you guys do a lot of South by stuff? Did you see the Halo drone thing?
No.
No, I only went to the one event. It was
It's like an
the
optics.
Optic and Razer party.
Oh, cool.
That was cool because I got to meet some people from RT that I've never met before. And,
Oh, who'd you
Yeah.
meet?
got to meet Sophie and
Michelle.
from
AJ.
Design, and AJ. I think AJ's like one of the bigger people I've met. and then a couple other people from like Optic, stuff like that. So.
Did you meet that guy Hector?
Who was Hector again?
The guy who started Optic?
Oh,
Gaming?
Hex?
Hex,
Mr. Hex? No, I don't think I don't know if I saw Hex.
It was
I had lunch
was
with him
packed.
recently. He was a really nice guy.
packed, and I also don't know if this is a factor of getting older, but holy fuck, it was loud in there.
Really?
It was like
they're
every
very
conversation was
popular.
like, "So, how are you?"
Well, there it is.
The venue.
So QR for
Yeah,
it's
it
the
ends in a
Halo thing.
QR, but they do like there's a Halo and then there's like a Warthog. Yeah.
wow.
It was a drone show.
Yeah, and it was just like Master Chief of the Energy Sword. And this was just like over downtown Austin, I guess.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I'm so
no.
ready for
When
like
was that?
I was over the weekend sometime. I just saw it on Reddit. I didn't know it was going to be there.
That probably was Saturday night, but considering we were inside,
I'm kind of ready for that to take over fireworks shows.
drone shows
Like
are
you see
insane.
some of those like that come out of China where it's like they have like crazy like drone shows, and it's like I bet that's like better for the animals. Like it's not terrifying dogs as much. It's like something you understand a little more. Like
Right. It's like, do you need the sounds or not to make a fireworks show enjoyable, or is it just more about the visuals?
I think it's the visuals.
Yeah.
visuals, right?
Yeah.
Who needs the
I think it's the smell.
the gunpowder.
smell?
Yeah, that's a big part of it
that's
too.
So just
Okay.
It's a multi-sensory experience.
Disney it up, pipe in the gunpowder smell.
You can do that.
Yeah.
Jack and I interviewed a dude who makes smells for theme parks the other day, actually, on Annual Pass.
Does he do the smells for Soren? Or Soaring? I forget. What
I'm not sure what he was allowed to say he did or didn't work on.
Okay.
But he provided us with a lot of samples of smells from certain places.
What did he go to school for?
No, I actually I asked him that question, Cole. And you can find out the answer by listening to Annual Pass podcast because I don't remember. He went to school for something different, and then he fell into that. Maybe marketing or
Got it.
design, maybe something artistic. I don't remember. But then he fell into smells.
That's like I always remember in high school, like my senior year, they asked everyone, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And the room was doctor, teacher, engineer, doctor, teacher, engineer, doctor, teacher, engineer. Everyone had the exact same three answers. No one went, "I want to be the smell guy
Yeah.
at Disney."
I want to make smells.
I want to meet the kid that does want to
Yeah,
be the smell guy
I'm
at
the
Disney.
smell king.
The coolest jobs on earth are the jobs nobody knows exist.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you guys watched that documentary about like Disney World, essentially like a Imagineer?
The Imagineers?
Yeah.
The-
Is that what it's
yeah,
called?
I saw it.
I have not seen it.
It is fantastic. It's
It's on
basically
Disney
like all
Plus.
the BTS of like what goes into creating Disney World and like all the different departments in art and
Growing up, we'd
no
always
smells though.
we'd always go like because my grandma wanted to be like an annual trip, and so she would always go Thanksgiving because it's cheaper because people are at home doing their family Thanksgiving, so you could get cheaper tickets. It was also really cool because you'd go on Thanksgiving Day, you would go the next day, and it would be a winter wonderland. Like it was all autumnal one day. Immediate flip over to like Christmas celebrations the next day. Just like,
team
you guys, we left here 8 hours ago.
Yeah.
What the heck?
The chat is telling me he went for animation. So if you want to get into smells, go to school for animation.
All right.
Well, I guess Destiny's getting into.
I was gonna say
getting
Destiny
into
has a
'cause
shot.
she's
The
going
smell
for a
queen.
degree in animation, so maybe she'll be the person who makes smells at Universal.
Yeah, there you go. Have you guys? I don't know if you've covered this on Annual Pass or not, but there's they talk about this color, this paint color they use at
Go Away
Disney.
Green?
Go Away Green.
Yeah.
That is like a color green that it's such a shade that you just don't notice it. So they paint things that they don't want people to notice, like garbage cans and stuff like that. That color,
Staff
so it kind of
doors.
blends
Staff.
in.
Really?
It's so bizarre. Yeah.
Is it called Go Away Green or something similar? But it's
think
like
it's Go
that.
Away Green.
It's like and it's a specific green that your eye just looks over. It's like the least noticeable color. So like all the doors that they go in and out of, and like Barb saying trash cans, stuff they don't want you to see, poles that hold up like I don't know, projectors and shit. It's all painted that green, and you just don't notice it.
You want to know a fun fact?
Crazy. Yes.
You know the movie Encanto?
Yeah.
You guys all seen it? Mm-hmm. Bruno, he's wearing Go Away Green.
Oh.
That movie had like the coolest like Bruno Easter eggs.
Yeah.
There were so many like where he's like sneaking around the entire
Yeah, the entire movie he's sneaking around and
Yeah.
no one notices it until
Go Away Green.
Yeah.
You know, your
Go Away
eyes gloss
Green,
over it. I don't know if we have a picture that we could pull up, but yeah, essentially like he's the character in the movie that has essentially been there the whole time, but nobody knows he's around. And so he's like meant to kind of be sneaky.
It's insane.
Have you guys watched After Party?
No, but Trevor actually was
Sounds really familiar.
talking to me about that.
How?
There's a character in that who's kind of nobody notices. He's there the whole time and nobody notices or pays attention to him. It's phenomenal though. It's the first Apple Plus show I've watched, and it's really really good. It's got
Have you not seen Ted Lasso?
no.
That's just a blank image.
No, I was going to wait around and see if people like Ted Lasso or not. I still haven't. I can't get a consensus whether it's popular or people
I love
think it's
it.
the greatest show ever made and won't shut the fuck up about it to me constantly.
I don't even know what it's about.
Ted Lasso?
It's about feeling good.
It's about a soccer team.
Yeah, it's about a
He's a soccer
football coach being hired to go coach a team for the Premier League.
In the UK,
Okay.
yeah. The thing I love about that show, which you might enjoy, especially in this day and age, it's one of those, it's a show where like conflict happens, but then it's like resolved in such a positive and healthy manner. Yeah. Things are communicated, people talk to each other. In a typical show where something happens, you're like, oh fuck, like this person's gonna find out about that, and then this is gonna happen, and then they're gonna assume this. That shit doesn't happen on the show. It just is like a feel good, people communicate, good things happen, sometimes bad things happen, but like it's still healthy.
So it's like no drama, basically. It's just all like...
There's still drama.
There's still drama. It's just repaired in a more pleasing way.
Like in a healthier way, maybe.
Oh,
Yeah.
That sounds like a really pleasing show, actually. I might-
Apparently, it kept people alive during the pandemic. Like
I think that's
it was
like
the one bit of positivity everybody
I think
had.
that's the thing is that it was a show with a more positive message when everything else was still like down.
Bruno.
I'll probably watch it whenever I'll get around to it at some point. Whenever it completes its run, I'll probably sit down and
I mean,
bang it
there's
all out.
two full seasons out.
Yeah, and I think they're filming 3 and 4 right now, or I read, or
Okay.
or they hope to film 4 this year. But After Party, it's a murder mystery with a bunch of different comedians.
I love murder mystery
and
shows.
funny people. Dave Franco is the person that gets murdered in the first episode, and then it's basically like at a high school reunion. And so everybody had a reason to kill Dave Franco from high school, and Tiffany Haddish is the detective. And then I don't know if you've seen.
Is it kind of like Knives Out in that sense then?
Yes, kind of like Knives Out,
Okay.
but a TV show with like Ben Schwartz and a bunch of other people in it. One of the ladies from that show I didn't watch, and then sorry, I can't even think of what it. Broad City, I think one of the ladies from that, and the dude. Did you ever see Search Party?
Yes, love that movie.
Like the
show.
blonde dude who's like the sidekick in Search Party.
Elliot?
He's one of the detectives in it as well.
A detective.
Yeah,
Okay.
he works with Tiffany Haddish, and it's just them trying to solve the crime, and it's very very funny.
It's a comedy.
Yeah,
Excellent.
I'm about halfway through it.
Did you watch Murderville?
I saw the first episode. I haven't continued. This is way better than Murderville, although I did like Murderville.
I liked Murderville.
Very
It
different.
Was very dependent on the host.
Yeah.
Or whoever the guest.
Did you see the whole thing?
Yeah.
Who did you think was the best host? I only saw Conan O'Brien.
Conan was good. Marshawn Lynch's was funny. Just because it's
That's the show I was going to bring up. I didn't know the name of it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the one where they go in and like they have to go solve a murder, right? Like
they have to go solve a murder.
Yeah.
Have you heard of it?
No,
Yeah.
is it like a reality show?
Well,
It's, it's almost like SNL, like an SNL skit. If
Okay.
you think of like an SNL skit
Yeah.
with like going and trying to solve a murder.
I
So
just, like,
everyone
okay,
else,
okay.
everyone else except for the guest have a script they're going off, or have a script for what the show is. The guest comes in and is reacting and improving with them.
So Conan O'Brien is one of them.
yeah, he was
to
in
solve a
episode
murder.
1.
I think Marshawn Lynch's was probably the best one.
Marshawn Lynch's was so good.
It's like Will Arnett is like the main detective,
Okay.
and then whoever the guest is comes on to be his like helper detective, like new rookie recruit
Gotcha.
for the episode, and then they go through and solve it. And so
And they have to like improv.
I think Will Arnett doesn't know what's going on, and then whoever the other host is doesn't, but everybody around them does. And so they're just trying to navigate.
Yeah, but it's shot and presented like
see
a
that.
procedural crime drama.
Yeah.
Like it looks like a CSI.
That's hilarious.
They even have like the quirky, nerdy science girl every time they go and they're like, "What's all right? Explain what the body is like. What's
That's a
going on?"
great premise for a show.
No,
My God, what station is that on?
Netflix.
Netflix.
Netflix, excellent. Speaking of Netflix, Jeff, I don't know if you are a fan of this show. Speaking of reality TV, Love is Blind.
Oh my God, am I a fan of Love is Blind?
hell yeah.
Love is Blind
It has
is
taken over my life.
the most ridiculous concept for a reality show. It's men and women who communicate and have like hours and hours and hours of conversation, never see each other, and they end up proposing to each other. Like people get engaged without ever having seen each other. But also it's like, what, 7 days that they're talking to each other?
You know what? I buy it. I buy that part.
Okay.
Because I've been thinking about it a lot.
Because I guess it's like that's all they could do is just talk.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes. Because if you... I'll get into that, but yeah, the way it works is like there's like 10 dudes, 10 ladies. They never see each other. They go into pods with a thin wall between them, and then they just have conversations. Okay. And then they fall in. Then they date through these walls and kind of fall in love. Yeah. And then the goal is if they do fall in love, one of them proposes to the other. If the other person says yes, then they meet. Then all the people that said yes, they then get immediately taken to a vacation where they go on like a honeymoon, where they sleep in the same room and they get to know each other and they see if it continues. Okay. Then. If they make it past that, and they always do for the most part, well, maybe not in season 2, but then they go to Chicago, at least in the season I've watched in America, and then they put them up in an apartment for 30 days, and they have to live together in an apartment for 30 days and then get married at the end. And so a lot of people get left on the altar. It's really cool.
Yeah, and then like the wedding is essentially where they decide if they want to be together or not.
And their
so, like,
families are there. People come in
wedding.
from like a legit wedding.
Like a snippet of it on like Twitter.
I've been meaning to watch
something.
the Love is Blind Japan one.
The Japan one looks like it's pure as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there was a clip I saw comparing the Love is Blind Japan versus Love is Blind America, I guess. Yeah. Where Love is Blind Japan, it was like this beautiful bridge with like flowers and trees everywhere, and like they come out to reveal each other, and the man is like crying and is like can't catch his breath, and the woman's like in tears, and it's just like so beautiful, and they hold each other, and then it cuts to the American version where they meet each other, and the guy's like, fuck, you're so hot, and he grabs her ass and like makes out with her. It's just like
it's true. Christ. It's true. It's pretty gross. So I've seen season 2. I started on season 2 of the American one.
We're watching season 2.
So I've been rewatching season 1 with Emily, but we haven't gotten through season 1 yet. Okay. So I don't know which one's better, but I hear season 1's great.
I liked season 1.
Did you? Season 2 I was so hooked on season 2, but because Emily doesn't like subtitles or dubbing, so she's not interested. I've been watching Love is Blind Brazil. Ooh. I'm on the last episode right now. Love is Blind Brazil is phenomenal.
Really?
Yeah, those people are lunatics. Those people, Brazilians are lunatics on that show.
You know what show that's like on the same like reality TV wave is Too Hot to Handle? Have you guys seen that?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen every episode, of course.
It's just a mess. It's crazy.
Bunch of fucking horny hot people.
Massive pleasure at the beginning of court.
Watch people lose money.
Yeah.
The cool thing about Love is Blind, they promo at the end of season 2 that there's a new season coming out. I can't remember what it's called now, but it's essentially my favorite TV show of all time, Temptation Island, right? Are you familiar with Temptation Island, Joe?
I don't think
That's
I've
like
ever
one of
watched
the
Temptation.
OG.
New season starts next week. No, this week. I'm sorry. New season starts Friday.
It's
very
also,
excited.
Honestly, like it's amazing reality TV because it's so fucking gross.
Yeah.
Like it is awful.
It's the best train wreck.
It's couples basically who are like
At the point of we're going to get together, we're going to get married or break up.
Which to me is such a weird place.
Like we're like on the fence. Like, should we get married? Should we take
like, you should never be on that kind of fence.
That's not the goal.
No.
So it's 4 couples, and then they go to this Temptation Island, and there's 2 villas, and all the girls go into one villa, and the guys go into another, and then over the next month, like 16 hot dudes will come and date the women, and 16 hot chicks will come and date the men, and then at the end they decide if they want to stay married or if they found new love, or no love, but they decide that they don't want to get married, that they want to be single.
And it sucks when couples are not on the same page.
The best, they're very rarely on the same page, and the best part about it is, this is brutal. They have these like tribal council type things where they sit down once a week, once an episode, and they'll hand like. Say like it's Emily and I, and she's at the villa dating all the dudes. They'll give me an iPad and they'll make me watch a 10-second clip of what's happening. And they are so cleverly edited, those 10-second clips, and sometimes so horrendous. It looks so much worse than it is, or sometimes it looks exactly as bad as it is. And the guy's like, "You mean to tell me my girlfriend had sex with somebody on day 1?" And they're like, well, if she's still your girlfriend, yes. Oh. And then it's just like you just watch the journey, and then they decide if they get married at the end or not. The cool thing about the new Love is Blind spinoff that they're going to do in April, it's the same principle, except they coexist. They're not in separate villas. So you have to watch. So you have to watch Trevor date other people, and Trevor has to watch you date other people.
That is torture.
Yeah.
What if you just decide not to date anyone?
You could just not.
Oh,
I don't know. You probably don't get good ratings, and you get kicked off shit.
That's like taking Love Island and juicing out the best parts.
Yeah, because they're Love Island, which Jeff and I have talked about a lot. Joe, I don't know if you've seen any Love Island.
A little bit.
Okay.
Tiny
There's-
bit.
Well, everyone is single, allegedly, who goes on that show.
Allegedly.
And then they end up coupling up. And then at one point in the show, it's usually after the couples are pretty solid, they do this thing where they separate the men and the women onto new villas and send in a whole new batch of like women for all the guys and a whole new batch of guys for all the women. And it's a similar thing where like they'll be on those villas for like a week or something like that.
2 days sometimes.
And then it's like, all right, the women are coming back. You know, if this woman comes back alone, it means she chose to stay with you. But if she comes back with a guy, it means she chose to like go with this guy.
And he lives here with you now.
Yeah. And it's just like, and they do the thing too where they show clips of what's happening on the other side.
Not as much.
fucking
Not as much because it's like usually they'll find out because the other people who were there were like, yeah, your boy was like all over every girl who came in, and she's like, no, that can't be him. Not my.
You tell me a new bird comes in here.
Yeah.
She's right fit. She's going to take my fucking man.
Yeah, they're all
Bullshit.
British. The best is the Australian, by far, I think.
Because you said that they are dumber and hotter, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if I said that on camera, but yeah.
Yeah.
I said that they are dumber and hotter.
But like, Love Island, Temptation Island, Too Hot to Handle, which you said they're all kind of in the same vein. Love is Blind is a little more like The Bachelor, where there's it's a little more endearing, and there is hope that people have found a connection.
It's not as messy.
The hope is that they're finding real romance.
It's the journey.
Yeah.
Like, this is the journey you're going on to find who.
But the reason I buy it is because of everything that happened before TV and radio.
Okay.
When people weren't distracted by cell phones and shit, like people got married after knowing each other for a fucking month. If you watch any Victorian TV show or read any Jane Austen book, it's like, I like you. You seem pleasant. I like you too. Let's devote the rest of our lives to each other. All right, it's been a week. And they get married because what else was there to do? Right?
Write
So when
letters
you
to each other.
distill it down and you take away all the distractions and you just put two people in a room together, they can figure out pretty quickly if there's a connection in a week
And
or
you're
2
talking
weeks.
for
but I also
hours
think-
and hours a day
Yeah.
as well.
I think it's another symptom of the phone though is that having more options now. Because
Yeah.
like back then it was like, well,
Yeah.
you're the other single person in town.
But
Yeah.
it makes total sense to me. Like when I was in the Army and we would get deployed to places, like, oh, you're going to go to Kuwait for 4 months. The people you get deployed with in about 3 days are the best friends you've ever had in your life. Like
Yeah.
you develop these instant, deep bonds really quickly, and you learn about each other really, really well. And then oftentimes you'll never see that person again, and you just had that. But there's something about the being sequestered and just focused time really lets people get to know each other and grow really quickly. So I totally buy that could happen.
No, I get that too. I mean, we haven't talked about it publicly yet. I don't think we're talking about it yet, but we filmed a show that's going to be released in April.
Is this?
Yeah.
The
Probably what you're thinking.
yeah.
Okay.
Where like I think I mean we only filmed it for 5 days, but people bonded. Like Joe
sure.
Yep.
being new.
Yep,
I'm
I
just gonna say
definitely
Joe's in it.
bonded with people who I have never met in person.
Yep.
But I had very quality conversation with, like, apart from like obviously the shooting and the stuff of it, like just good conversation. I actually got to know people.
I hate it when we do the thing where we talk about something that we can't talk about.
I know.
Like I know I
especially
just did that
this
with my
one.
cup earlier. I have not talked about what the perfect cup is. I deftly sidestepped that. But I will say that show that is gonna, I don't know when it'll be announced.
It's
I think you guys are going to show it.
there's a trailer that's going to be released, and then
I think you might be premiering at Let's Play Live Tour, which if you haven't got your AH Live Tour,
Live Tour.
that if you haven't gotten tickets for, you should.
Oh, that's a great point. I think I was a little worried I wouldn't be able to attend. I had some conflicts. So I think I'm going to be there. So I think I'm going to be able to go to the
So if
full
you haven't
tour.
got your tickets yet,
Some of
see
it are
Jeff
full.
and the trailer for the show that we keep teasing.
yeah.
And Joe.
And Joe.
And me.
And Joe, his first tour.
I think it's up there with some of the things I've been most excited about in the history of Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
In terms of like the hardcore monopolies and Last Laughs and some of those ones that we've done that have just been real. And I got to watch it happen as kind of as a producer, not necessarily a participant, and it was enthralling.
Yeah. And that's just like the raw stuff.
Yeah.
Not even like edited down to a show.
I would go home and if Emily was asleep, I would wake her up to tell her about it. I'd be like, did this happen? And then this happened? And then you're not going to believe that this happened? It was crazy.
Yeah. There was a moment where something happened and I texted Geoff and I was like, are you watching this shit? And you were like, this is the one time I'm not at the office.
One day I couldn't be there.
And so I like texted him
brutal.
everything that happened. He was like, holy fuck. It's very exciting. I think it premieres in April.
Is this the reality adjacent show? Have you guys said something? to that
Trevor
effect?
said something. To
Yes.
that effect, I'm pretty sure.
I guess.
I would say it's if you like reality TV.
It's gonna be for you.
And if you don't like reality TV, it's still fucking
Honestly,
for you
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's not what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Right. It's very cool.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
some lame ass thing.
Cole, do you know what we're talking about?
Oh,
by
yeah.
chance? Okay.
Trevor's teased this for like a month. If not
the way to
more,
do it.
Yeah.
more than that. Just because it was so good. It was so good. I want to talk about it so bad, but we can't.
I can't.
It's been
wait to
funny
talk
because he's been dropping breadcrumbs because I'm editing off topic now. And so every time I'm like, okay, so they know that much now.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so this is what they know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It was kind of cool to just see it all come together for sure.
I've been watching rough cuts of it, just like for notes and stuff like that. And every time I just end up watching it all the way through and I go, I didn't give any notes. Oh shit. Like I need to actually do that just because I'm so enthralled with what's going on.
I watched the first episode to give notes, and I went, I don't have any notes. It's just really good.
It's just really
keep
good.
doing what you're doing. Like, I don't know. It's just fucking great. Yeah, I love it.
You know, we'll intercut this conversation with when it actually comes out. So
Yeah,
you know
perfect.
what we're talking about.
I do hope people will come to the AH Live tour, though. I think it's like the March 30th.
It's the 31st,
31st,
second, and 3rd.
And that's
Yeah.
Seattle, San Francisco,
Los
LA.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
It's gonna be fun.
I'm going to try to.
Yeah, I'm hoping,
visit.
because like for me, it's my first live show anywhere for anything. So I'm really excited about it.
Oh,
Are you nervous at all? I would
not
be.
really.
If I were you. You should be.
I mean, I should be. I'm pretty sure when I get up there, I'll be a little bit more nervous
It's
than
so
I am now.
easy, dude. It's great.
I think for me, it's just like the community has been very inviting. So like, it doesn't make me feel scared. It's like we're just doing what we do in a different scope.
You're playing for an audience that wants to see you and wants to be there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's like an easy
They
audience.
want to be entertained, and so
Yeah.
it's like
People want to be there.
It's impossible to fail in front of the home crowd. And the nice thing about it, too, is there's an ensemble of supportive people there with you. I'm joking, but it is really, it is very fun.
No, I
be a
mean,
part of
yeah,
it,
if
not
I mess up,
scary at all.
I'll never hear the end of it for a long time.
I mean, it'd be good content.
It'd be good content, though.
You
Yeah,
can
exactly.
pray
You can't
for-
fail because every fail is going to be
that's what
a
you
success.
pray for a mess up because then it's legendary. It's like, oh my god, this happened.
So Seattle the 31st, San Francisco the 2nd, Los Angeles the 3rd.
Yeah.
Wow, whirlwind. I should also probably mention in that time period, April 1st, which is Rooster Teeth's 19th anniversary, we're doing the RT podcast live in Austin as part of the normal podcast tour. Austin that night. So obviously no one from Achievement Hunter will be there.
Is that on the anniversary?
It is, yeah.
I was supposed to do that, and then it got moved. I can't do it now. I
Yeah,
guess.
it was supposed to be earlier. I
Yeah.
think it was supposed to be January 15th, and then Omicron was the thing.
Yeah.
And so we pushed it back. So yeah, now it's on April 1st. So come celebrate
Yeah, I
the
think that's
anniversary.
the thing, though, is like, although like things are opening up again, it's like I think it's changed people's comfortability levels around crowds, and I think that's kind of like where like we hope people come out and like hang out with us, but obviously understandable if you're scared of the big crowds and whatnot.
sure.
So
I mean, I know that we're taking safety very seriously at all these events.
Always.
Always. So, of course, no pressure if you can't come or don't feel comfortable. We're not going to
we're
bill
not
you for
gonna
that.
show up to your house and be like, "Hey,
Where were you?
why didn't you come to my show?"
Have you ever tried to figure out how many COVID tests you've had since this started?
Jeff, I was just thinking about this the other day.
Because I took one 3 hours ago before I came in.
I took one this morning,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I was like, I got to take one again Wednesday. And
Yep.
it at least 2 a week for the last 2 years.
2?
2
Almost?
years?
Well, I guess
We didn't start coming back for a while.
We probably didn't start coming back until like maybe 6 months, 8 months into the pandemic.
Yeah,
306.
Maybe even more.
306.
Yeah.
for 2 years.
that's a lot.
I remember the first COVID test I had to do because this was like the really brain pokey PCR test they used to do.
Yeah.
And I remember it was my first one ever, and I was like sweating. I was
12.
so nervous because I was like, "Fuck!" Like I've heard horrible things about this. The guy does it on me, and I go, "It's the Is that it?
Dude, now
It's all about the administrator.
we had a meeting today. We were both in at the talking about the anniversary. Actually, I didn't have my camera on for the first 5 minutes because I was COVID testing myself during the meeting. It's like now it's just like a second. I'm like, oh, I got to do this.
I did one in a car once.
Did you really?
On the way to the office because I was running so late. So like when I was like at a red light, I was just like doing the nose things and like putting in the vial and like doing the flick on the thing to make sure.
That's when you
mixes.
hope and you look over and somebody's watching.
Yeah.
And just like,
I'm like, there's nothing more 2022 than doing a COVID test in your car. Fuck, dude. Yeah. But it's nice that we have access to them nowadays.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Because there was a time where it was really difficult to find tests.
Yeah, it really was. I also took, I think when I had COVID, I think I took a test or 2 tests every day because I was so desperate for it to come up negative so I could go back to work.
I took a test almost every day when I had COVID
Yeah.
too, because Trevor never ended up getting it. And I was just like so impatient of like wanting to not be quarantined away from him because it was over Christmas break too. So I was like, oh, great. We have a full like week and a half of break and I have COVID.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have to like stay in my office and quarantine and stuff like that. But on day 10, which is supposed to be like when you could break quarantine or end quarantine, that's the first day it came up negative.
Really?
Yeah.
It was day 14 for me,
Holy
which felt
shit.
like it was going to be forever.
Yeah.
Because Emily was living in a hotel the whole time.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not a small amount of time though when you really think about it. Like everyone's like, oh, you know, it's only 2 weeks. 2 weeks is a lot of time.
It's a long time.
It's a long, especially when you're isolated. You don't know what you don't know what to do.
Well, I know that like in Australia and some other countries, if you were traveling into the country, they would make you stay at a hotel for 2 weeks. So it's like
Yeah.
you're not even at home. Like you're in a hotel room that sometimes doesn't have a window you could open
Yeah.
or like anywhere else to go.
that's like when I'm going to Japan, originally it was 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't have a living situation yet. So how do I get food? Like I'm in a hotel. I'm in an apartment now.
Yeah.
You also weren't allowed to take like a taxi. You had to like find a
Someone
way
to
to
drive you?
get to, like,
It's a lot of room service.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like, just 2 weeks of that. Try to think about what you were doing right now 2 weeks ago. I mean, man, it might be the podcast for.
Chances are. Actually, no, 2 weeks ago. It's March 1st, right? I don't remember what I was doing.
Exactly.
We might have been in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
We were in Vegas together
When did you fly back from Vegas?
the next day. I was the only one that stayed.
Jeff, I had some issues on my flight home.
Oh, I would love to hear. We never synced up after. That was the first one of those events I've ever done.
Yeah.
And it's the first time you and I have traveled together in a very long time. It was a lot of fun.
Very fun.
I had a great time hanging out with you guys, and obviously with Gus. But I never, like, the event ended. You guys all got on a plane and went home. I didn't want to fly Southwest, so I stayed another day.
Yeah, it's good.
And I had a great time. I went gambling by myself and won money, and like I had a lovely evening. But
well, jealous
what
of
was your time?
So the flight was fine itself. I was sitting in the middle seat. Oh, sorry, no. I was sitting in a window seat next to some guy who was in the middle. And he had his text so big. Like the font on his phone was like so huge. And he was holding his phone like this so I could read everything on his phone. And I happened to glance over at one point, and he wrote, all good, sitting next to some skinny bitch. So I got plenty of room. And I was like, the first thing I thought was,
kind of a compliment.
he called me skinny.
Yeah.
Wow. So that was nice. But then when I got back, I had to check a bag because overhead space these days is awful.
It's difficult.
So I typically just check a bag just so I don't have to even think about it. So I could just board the plane and not be stressed out about finding a space for my bag. I waited for about 45 or 50 minutes at the carousel for my bag to come out. Waiting. Everyone is around there. I don't see anyone who's on my flight, though, which is very strange. And then I was like, you know what? I don't see any bags from even Las Vegas coming out. And so I go to the counter, and I see my bag sitting there. And I was like, oh. And they're like, yeah, we pulled it off to make some room for some other bags since we had like 4 flights coming in on this carousel. And I was like,
That was
when was that? They're like, maybe about like 40 minutes ago. And I was like, you fucking son of a bitch. You guys have a fucking...
minutes ago?
Yeah. I was standing there waiting for my bag to come out for 45 minutes while it was there. It's just sitting.
They're just sitting there watching you, like, when do you think she's gonna know?
People,
And
they were placing
then-
bets on you.
Yeah.
And then, because there were so many flights coming in that night, I don't know what was going on in Austin. I don't know if you ever parked in the garages at the
Every
Austin
time.
airport.
Yeah.
I park in the blue garage, which is like
It's time to
go.
feed the dog. Sorry.
Feed the dog.
Henry needs his pills.
Usually you get in your car, like it's like maybe like a 5-minute walk from the airport to the parking garage. It's not that bad. I usually get in my car, drive out, go pay for parking and leave. Going down the ramp of the garage was standstill traffic. And I was like, what's going on? There were so many fucking people coming in, and there was only 3 terminals at the parking space that were working, like the paying for parking space. The cars were so backed up. I was in my car for about an hour and a half getting out of the airport.
Out of just the garage?
Out of the garage.
I wonder what it could have been.
I don't know
Spring
if like
break?
Too
I
early
think they
for
might
South
have
by.
changed the payment terminals to be like a different like
System.
You have to like put the card in and keep it there instead of just like swiping it. Something changed.
I actually have a frequent Parker card that lets me like
I mean, this wouldn't have helped you because it
Yeah.
was literally just backed up.
Yeah.
You couldn't even get around.
get
people.
to it.
Drive out, just drive out of it. Just drive out of
It was
the
just
garage.
awful.
Even
I
if
ended
it was like on the second level, your car can make it.
Yeah,
The
it's from my dream. That's how I died. My car flies.
The airport is one of those places where I spend dumb money for convenience.
Yeah.
Because of my age. I just like, we've been doing this it'll be 19 years next month. And that's 19 years of traveling, 20 to sometimes 50 weeks a year, depending on the year. So I park in that red parking lot and I don't care how much it costs.
That's like $17 a day.
Yeah, $17 a day. Every time I park, it's like $200 when I leave, but I don't care because I get in and out in seconds.
Convenience. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. Do you go to the airport a lot, Cole?
I try to.
Okay.
Do you ever
clear?
fly or do you just hang out?
Hang on. No. Yeah. I just flew last week.
Do you have clear?
Yeah. TSA pre-check?
TSA pre-check.
Yeah. I got it when we were going to go in Japan the first time. And so
Yeah.
I've just been sitting on it for a while, not using it.
TSA pre-check is worth every penny.
Yeah.
How much is it typically?
200?
For like 5 years though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like you pay for it, and you just you basically have to apply for it, right?
You feel like
Yeah,
a goddamn
which-
celebrity.
They ask you like
You're
3
walking through.
questions at the airport.
Oh, that's it.
If you don't have it yet, though, do you ever travel internationally?
No, but I'm
Hopefully.
Get global
probably will.
entry. Get global entry instead of TSA PreCheck because it comes with TSA PreCheck.
And global
so then you
entry
get
is
it for
like
free.
TSA pre-check in every country.
well, I've never flown internationally before ever. But
You want
I
global entry.
lied.
It was gonna save
I
you
lied.
so
I
much
went
time.
to Cancun last year.
Okay.
But that was my first time ever, and then I think I have something coming up eventually. So
Maybe. Maybe.
A little something, something.
Global entry comes with TSA PreCheck, which is a must. And really, Barbara's right. You should get clear, if at all.
I slept on that for too long.
what is clear exactly?
It is a service that you walk up to. Like when you go up to the security line, there's there's the first class priority line.
Yeah.
There's normal. Then there's TSA PreCheck. To the right or left or wherever that is a couple of little white kiosks that say clear.
Yeah, I see that.
You walk right up. They scan your eyes
Or your
and then
fingerprints.
or your finger, and then they walk you to your to security and then
To
you
the
go through.
front of any whatever security line.
Like it's
you're
faster
part
than TSA. You cut TSA PreCheck off.
Fucked up.
of. So like if I have TSA pre-check and now I have clear,
Yeah.
which I again
Yeah.
like for convenience splurge on this because I travel all the time.
Yeah, it's so useful.
You go up and you're like clear and they're like okay. They scan your eyes. They go all right, boarding pass. And then
wouldn't-
they take you right to the front of TSA pre-check line.
I wouldn't necessarily recommend testing it because if it doesn't work, it's a pain in the ass. But you can get to your flight. You can get to the airport like 10 minutes before your flight boards and be fine because you just walk
recommend
straight
it.
through.
Yeah,
I would recommend it.
the
recommend
only
it,
problem I've had
but-
with that is the other people in the group who don't have.
Well, those people sit in line while I'm sitting in the Admirals Club waiting for them. I don't give a fuck.
I guess everyone's like argument against is, well, you're taking your biometrics. Who
cares?
You think
They
your-
have
you
it.
think your
Who cares?
iPhone doesn't have it
They
already?
have it already.
Yeah.
They already have it.
They got it.
You're walking around 24 hours a day with a beacon in your pocket going, here I am, here I am, here I am,
This is my
NSA,
life,
here I
this is my
am.
life.
I found out something like you definitely need to turn off on your phone location of whenever you take a photo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you should.
Interesting.
Anyway, it also
Definitely should get it.
it's also a great time saver if you ever get to the airport and there's like crazy lines and you're like, I'm not going to make my fucking flight. You can walk over, sign up for Clear, and use it in 5 minutes.
Oh, really?
That's what Fredo and Jackie, I believe, did that. They were going to go visit Jeremy, and they got to the airport, and the lines were just like, because you never know at the Austin airport what it's going to be like, which is why I always get there super early because I'm anal like that. But they did that. They signed up for Clear so that they could just like jump the line.
See, the last couple times I've been at the Austin airport, there have been no lines. Like one time I got to my flight like 20 minutes before like the flight closed the doors. Like it was after boarding had happened because I was running super late, and there was no line. I was through security in like 3 minutes.
It's starting to get worse. was trying to get.
Well,
It's a crapshoot. It just depends. Yeah.
It
So I just got
depends,
lucky.
yeah.
And when there's shit going on like F1 or South by or ACL, it is brutal. No.
Just don't travel. Just don't even
Yeah, I
bother.
just won't travel. Honestly, I've done the most traveling I've ever done has been since I've been with Achievement Hunter. So
Yeah, and there's only more to come probably.
Yeah.
yeah, so I might have to get clear.
I really appreciate Trevor because he puts up with my like crazy anal needs, which sounds very strange when I just put that
I have
in.
a lot of anal needs.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait.
Flip it,
Some say
Trevor.
they're crazy.
Let me run that back. But like I'm someone who likes to get to the airport very early because I don't mind like if we have access to the club or like going to eat or like just hanging out and not being stressed about it, just being there and like being at the gate or like whatever it is versus someone who's like, well, my flight doesn't leave for another hour, so I only have to leave in like 40 minutes. That stresses me out. And I'll be like, is it okay if we go to the airport like this time? He's like, yeah, whatever makes you comfortable. Like,
What's this club? What's this club that you guys keep talking
Admirals
about?
Club?
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
I have a credit card that gives me access to the Admirals Club, which is just
Oh, okay.
like a airline club that gives you like there's
Yeah,
free Wi-Fi, nice chairs, some food.
It depends on what airline you fly. All right, so let me give you the Rooster Teeth primer. All right, Joe, now that you're here and you're going to start flying a lot, especially with Achievement Hunter, you're going to be flying your little ass off for the next couple of years. Get used to that. You're going to want to sign up for points programs with all the major
Yes.
airlines. You're going to figure out the one that you like the best. I would recommend, and be a little bit of a bully here about it. I shouldn't say that. But just be confident when they book your flights. I would like to always fly whatever airline it is that I like. Like
would
Gus
suggest-
likes Delta.
I like American.
American. I think most people in the company are American.
I don't think I've ever flown American, so when everyone tells me American, I'm like, oh, I always fly Southwest.
American has a lot of flights out of Austin, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's typically
And Dallas is the hub, and so
Yeah.
it's easy to get around.
So it's close.
But not all airlines have them in all airports. But Austin Airport has a Delta Admirals Club or whatever they call it, flagship club, and an American one, and it's just a special little lounge you can go into that has free food, free drinks, free Wi-Fi, and you can just kind of sit. And it's a little quieter. There's
Charging
TVs.
stations.
Yeah.
You can kind of you can order a little lunch or buy lunch downstairs and bring it up.
Yeah.
And it's just like a quiet place to kind of just chill out.
And get away
Spend
from
a
all the
day in
noise
one
in the
once when I
airport.
was like 12.
That's why I don't mind getting there early.
We were. I went to China with my family, and on our way back in Japan, we realized they had torn the wrong ticket going there. And so they're like, we can't let him back in. This is we're like, and so of course they were like, we'll correct your mistake, we'll replace your ticket, but it's gonna have to be. It's like the end of the day now, so it's gonna have to be tomorrow.
Oh.
This is also super weird because it was right at the start of the Iraq War.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh my God.
I remember sitting in the Admirals Club watching like we're declaring war now. Like I was like, oh, but yeah, we bought a bunch of pirated Friends, the TV series, and had a mini DVD player. And
I was confused as what you meant by pirated
Friends.
when I used to drink, I loved the Admirals Club because you get fucking hammered for free.
That's true.
Yeah, that was always the appeal.
That's something that I never have understood is people who like to get really drunk before a flight or even just a little tipsy
used to.
because I get nauseous when I drink.
Yeah.
And like I'm already nauseous on a plane to a degree, especially during takeoff and landing. And I'm just like, God, the last thing I want to be on a plane is drunk.
I have a lot of friends who are terrified of flying, and so they want to be passed out on it.
See, yeah,
I never get to that point.
I mean, I was at a point in my life where I could only sleep when I was super drunk, like I was hammered. So like I understand that, but also it doesn't make you feel good.
yeah.
But
exactly.
yeah, I understand like wanting to get hammered and go on a flight.
You also just get so like bloated when you fly, so it just adds to that. It's hard to eat well when you're traveling.
It is. You just got to embrace the bad when you travel.
Vegas
I guess.
was bad for me.
Was it really?
Just like because we're eating out every single meal, and it's also like Vegas food, so you want to like indulge in like all these places.
Did you end up eating at that noodle place?
Yeah,
Was it good?
amazing.
Really?
It was. So I ate at the restaurants in the hotel because every hotel in Vegas,
What hotel were you at?
The Sahara
Sahara,
is where they
which
put us up.
left a lot to be.
It was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was okay. Bazaar Meats is very
it's a
good. It's a very good. There's a very good Jose Andres restaurant.
We
in
went to
there.
Bazaar Meats.
Yeah.
Basically, like almost every hotel in Vegas. I want to say every hotel. They have a casino in the hotel. They have multiple restaurants in the hotel. They have shopping in the hotel. Like it's basically you
Pools.
don't
You
have
never
to
have to
go
leave.
anywhere.
Yeah.
It's an adult Disneyland.
I didn't end up leaving the hotel like when we were done the convention, because it was like I was already tired and it's nice to just be able to go downstairs and do anything you want there. So I had gone to every single restaurant in the hotel by the end of the weekend. And there was a noodle place that was like fucking gourmet, dude.
Yeah, Aaron Zek kept talking about it, and I want to check.
She
it
went
out
there, I
next
think,
time
3
we're there.
times.
We do the same thing. Like I always stay at I always stay at the Wynn and the Encore, and then Emily and I we go to Vegas a lot, like probably 4 or 5 times a year now. And even though I don't partake in most of the stuff you do in Vegas, but the only time we'll leave is to go to a show. You
Yeah.
spend the whole time in the hotel. It's awesome, and you don't even feel like it. It's just like there's so much to do, and
It's like adult Disneyland.
it really is. Yeah.
We went
like a mini
for
staycation.
Exactly.
Jordan's bachelor party a long time ago, or 2019.
Jordan Levin?
Swears.
Serious.
Who?
Is that a running joke that I...
No. There's just multiple Jordans. I think he meant Swears.
The nature of that, we went to like a lot of different places. Like we went, and I think the best food we had was Best Friend, Roy Choi's place. Mm-hmm. So good. But we went and saw shows.
Is that the place that's like a little convenience store?
It looks like a convenience
Yeah,
store. when
Gus
you
went
walk in.
there.
Yeah, and you're like, "Where's the restaurant?" And then they take you behind like a secret wall, and like it's a full restaurant. Way
Sounds
back.
like a speakeasy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
does.
that was amazing food.
You ever been to Vegas?
I've never gone to Vegas in my adult years. No,
Wow. Okay.
never. I think a lot of it. The reason why I haven't gone, I could go now, but a lot of it was I was trying to get sober. So like just putting myself in that environment was not good because I have a very addictive personality. So and everything's available to you.
Are you
so-
sober?
I am. Yeah.
Hey, man. Nice to meet you. Me too. How long?
Well, I won't lie. I was sober for about 3 years, and just recently before I moved, I broke sobriety. Just had a lot going on, and it just like crumbled. Like
Yeah.
I just crumbled under the pressure. But now I guess it would be like 3 months, so better than nothing.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah,
Seriously.
yeah. It was. I mean, definitely took a lot to get. I mean, you know how hard it is to get there.
Hardest
so-
thing I've ever done, and continues to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about is like it's never a wand battle. It's always a fighting battle.
Yeah.
So
It's not something that's like, it's cured.
yeah, like even for me it's a little different because like at least with drinking, I just stopped for a really long time and then like I could get back to it. But sometimes I get scared like when I take a sip, I'm going to like lose that control on it, like grasp on it. My hardest struggle is definitely with like substances and stuff like that. So yeah.
Proud of you, dude.
Thank you.
For real.
I'm proud of you too.
Thanks, man.
And if you ever need me to like,
Yeah. Yeah, beat me up.
beat you up and just be like, what the fuck you doing, man? I'll do it. Whatever you need.
I haven't decided if I want to talk about this story, but I almost got fucked out of my sobriety at a dinner not too long ago
You did.
that messed me up. I went home and I cried for like an hour.
Oh, dude,
It was so rough.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it was just we went out to dinner, a work dinner, and I ordered a mocktail, and I get really cagey about it. You get really nervous about it, and so I actually had I think Trevor or Lewis drink it for me, take a sip,
Yeah.
to make sure there wasn't alcohol. And it was fine. And we drank that mocktail. Then we ordered another round. And I said, I'd please make sure it's a mocktail. And then Trevor actually was very sweet. He pulled the person aside and said, hey, make sure it's a mocktail.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we got it. And then they brought me a drink full of booze. And right as I was drinking it, Lewis stopped me. But it was like almost ruined 5 fucking years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It'll be 5 years next Friday. So
also-
like, no, shit, this Friday. It'll be 5 years this Friday.
Holy shit.
On St. Patrick's Day. So
wow.
it's like,
It's huge.
to get that close and have had it blown it was just like I spent the rest of that dinner just like sitting just quietly.
Yeah.
It just took me out of it completely.
that really upset me that they wouldn't take extra special care with something like that. Like any restaurant.
They were so flippant. They did not give a fuck.
They didn't give a fuck. And it's like you have no idea what someone's going through when
Yeah.
they ask like for something.
And we
virgin
were
or-
very clearly very adamant about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Like please make sure there's no alcohol.
Like I think it's really hard for.
and the same for Hannah because she's pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah.
She has announced that, by the way. Hannah McCarthy, pregnant. Congratulations. But also, like, she wasn't drinking, obviously. So it's like, please make sure these drinks do not have alcohol.
Especially when you're like pulling people aside again, you're like, hey, really make sure Trevor going over being, please make sure that it's mocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough when everyone just kind of has an assumption about like how everyone else functions and like what's going on in their lives, and then they never realize like the small little thing they do could have a huge impact on someone else's life.
Absolutely.
You know? So it's like that carelessness that, you know.
Because, like, yeah, if you are struggling and then, like, let's say you accidentally get a drink that has alcohol in it, and it like sets you back.
I don't know. I mean, it would fuck up the streak, but it would just feel like a personal failure. But I also don't know what would happen if I drank alcohol. I don't know that
Sure.
Yeah, no.
Like you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah.
I don't know what would happen. I'm scared to find out.
Yeah, so like I'm always like comfortable talking about my experiences, right? Just because like I feel like my experiences could always help someone else, right? So like with me, when I broke my sobriety recently, it was just I was in a bad argument. I had a lot of emotions running through me, and when everything snapped, I ran to my fridge and I just like grabbed 2 handles of alcohol and I just opened it and I chugged the whole bottle down.
Jeez.
And then I was like holding the other one and I was like shaking because I was angry, I was emotional, but also I had just realized I'd broken my sobriety. So I was just all over the place.
Yeah. Right.
And like Destiny was trying to like, be that support. And for a while, all I did was I held that bottle as tight as I fucking could, sat on my couch for like an hour, just shaking. Because I was like, you're fighting that mental temptation.
Yeah.
You're fighting that like emotional thing, just emotions rising in you. And so like, it scared me because it was like, is this going to set me back every little progress I've made, right? Yeah. And that's like the scary part. But then I think at the same token, me like taking a second and stopping and thinking about it made me realize how much stronger I was and how much progress I have made. And it's like one incident doesn't ruin all your efforts, you know? So.
And recovery isn't a straight line.
No,
right?
it's not.
Like it's not meant to be.
It's not.
And it's impossible.
It's human to fall and get back up. It's not always you're perfect, you're doing everything right. Like there's no right way to go about it. Every experience is individualized. It's based on you and your specific road to being sober and everything like that. So
yeah,
I mean,
well, if there's anything you ever need from any of us here at RT, like
absolutely,
and
we are all here.
Same to you because I'm sorry that happened because I know that feeling. I know that feeling of like whether. It's like I've had a group of friends who try to push me basically out of my sobriety before, and it's like, why?
What are their names and where do they live?
But it's like, why? Like people always talk about how you do bad things when you're not sober, but then you're trying to sober and they push you to do the bad things.
Right.
And it's like, what do you?
Yeah, and people can enable without, they don't even realize they're doing it, which is really the painful thing,
We're very people want to be surrounded by people who are doing things that they're doing. So it's like, oh, if we're out drinking and you're not drinking, it's like, oh, why aren't you drinking? Like, come on, get drink with me, blah, blah, blah. And it's just like this really common social pressure that people get put into. And it's just like, oh, I'm not drinking right now, or I don't want to drink tonight.
Yeah.
And that should just be it. There should never be like, well, why?
Yeah.
Or like, what's going on? Like,
it doesn't matter.
And everyone's definition of sobriety is different, right? Like there are people who don't want to touch whatever they're trying to sober from like ever again.
Yeah.
Or like for me, what helped me was like with alcohol, mine was just, I'm not going to get to a certain point. I'm going to remember every single moment that I've had. And that's like my goal, whether it fails or not, it happens.
Yeah.
But like for me, me reaching what I considered myself to be sober was being able to take a drink and not crave it.
yeah,
Like not physically sit there and like, I need it.
absolutely.
I don't think it's physically possible for me to feel that way and not crave it. To do,
Well, you've talked openly about how you have a very addictive personality, and so like you probably do things in extremes. Do you find?
Yeah, oh, for sure. Like this company, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that if I had a drink, like I have recurring nightmares about it. If I had a drink, like my nightmare, I'm always like at a party or someone's house and I just pick up what I think is my drink and then it's not. And I have just chugged like a gin and tonic. But I think if I had a drink, I'd probably lose a year of my life. I think it would take me a while to climb out of that. Yeah. I don't want to be there again,
Well, we're proud of you.
Thanks.
5 years, man.
You
That's
should be proud of
incredible.
yourself because 5 years is not a short amount of time. We just talked about how 2 weeks is not a short amount of time.
Yeah.
5 years is like an incredible feat. And even though it's like a constant struggle, you should be proud of yourself because taking that victory in helps you. It helps your mental, it helps push you further. So
You are wise beyond your 25 years.
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
yeah. Damn, bro.
You know what? I'm gonna go ahead. We'll just renew that contract for tomorrow. You're good.
We did.
An extra day.
I have
we'll
a
just-
job tomorrow.
Go ahead and-
Every
you
night I
there.
go home, Jeff. You have no idea. I go home to Destiny. I'm like, babe, I really hope to have a job tomorrow.
day.
And then like I get that little like notification like in Slack. It's like, Joe, you're good to go for tomorrow. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, oh my god.
It's always at like 11:59.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cutting it
Yeah,
close.
they always cut it close. It's like anywhere from 11:45 to 11:59.
It turns out that
PM.
wasn't an alarm for him to feed Henry. It was an alarm.
That was to remind me that.
Remember the draft up the contract.
Hey, gotta change the date on the contract.
How? Let me ask you. How long have you been here now? 2 months? A month?
3 months.
3 months?
It's actually, let's see, it's right over 3 months.
Okay.
You came in January, right? January.
I moved here in January, but I technically got hired I got hired on the 6th of December.
Right.
I remember when we had the conversation. We are like, "So, do you want to come work here? We'll hire you." And Joe was like, "I'll buy a house today."
Yeah.
It was like, and then he did.
I moved pretty quick. I moved
yeah.
in like a month.
You moved very quick. Yeah.
How has it been so far? Now that you're
I
3
love
months into Rooster Teeth, how does it feel?
I love it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I was honestly a little nervous just because, like, I came from being like a solo streamer, and it's like I've always wanted to work in groups, but I never had like the availability. Right? It's like it's always like, oh, I'm maybe hang out with like 1 or 2 people on stream, and it's so different. And then coming in and like realizing like what I do directly impacts how all my other peers and my colleagues, you know, like all my friends now that are here, it affects how they do their jobs.
Called his friends.
I kind of just like, I was definitely nervous, but like now that I'm here, I love it.
That's great. It has been a delight to watch you replace Trevor and Alfredo's eyes.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely love
Yeah,
it.
you know, I think that.
wait a
I
minute.
think there's been a few comments.
He just has
about
more
that,
time for you now.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
He's always had time for me.
Yeah, it's like I'm going like so like you know I'm replacing Trevor and Alfredo. Don't tell them this, but like day by day. So like the more daily renewals I get, it shortens their contract.
That's the
Similar.
contract. The contract says you're replacing Trevor and Alfredo for 1 day.
Yeah, basically.
We were talking about this recently. I forget who else was in this conversation, but I was like, man, I don't know that there's ever been someone who has fit so instantly and so perfectly like Joe has. Like
Yeah.
just like immediately.
Aw, thank you.
It's taken
guys.
like no time at all for you to feel like right at home.
Oh, I think
And
it's
of
also
course, like everyone knew it. Achievement Hunter has just been
Yeah.
such a perfect fit.
Yeah, no,
Brian,
it's
BK, and
that's not to
everyone.
discredit
Oh,
anybody
no.
else in Achievement Hunter, but yeah, you've definitely on day one it seemed like you'd been here for 5 years.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys. Yeah, I mean,
has been.
obviously, it was the help of like everyone else too. Like they've made it feel like home. You know what I mean? Like you've made me feel super welcome, and you're the OG. You know, like the
oldest of Gs.
Yeah, the oldest of Gs. Yeah, and so like you know that part helps for sure. Is just having that support of like you might be new, but we're gonna treat you like you've been here for who knows how long. You know?
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's just been so nice to have like new people come onto the team. Just because, like, I mean, Jeff, you could probably attest to this, but like Achievement Hunter and all the groups have been just like the same people for a very long time. And it's always hard to bring in new people because it's such a huge barrier to entry.
And it's such an intimidating dynamic to watch into, to walk
Absolutely.
into, you know. And I don't know how people do it. I really don't. It's that barrier to entry's got to be very intimidating.
yeah, it was definitely a little staggering, like a little daunting
bet.
to see it like for the first time in person, like seeing how like Michael, Trevor, and Fredo, and like all of them just kind of going after each other like with every little bit and just like without falter, like anything in between. And it felt a little scary because I was like,
Yeah.
am I going to be able to match that?
Yeah.
Am I going to be able to add something to that? Because I don't think for me it's about fitting in. It's about adding something to the team, and it's, you know, or else why am I here if I
Right.
don't add something to it, right? So
I think part of the blessing and the curse of what we do at Rooster Teeth is we make what we do look very easy and acceptable. But you are right that what they do at Achievement Hunter, it is a chaotic but well-oiled machine, and they are doing hard. It is hard work to do what they do and to make it look so seamless, and it requires a tremendous amount of chemistry and creative shorthand between people, but also a lot of repetitions, a lot of years of working together and getting to know each other. And it's a really impressive thing what they do, what everybody at Rooster Teeth does.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And making no, everybody for sure, but making I'm just speaking to him about age. He's an age, but
Geoff, talk about me more.
I'm sorry, I will. It's I guess it's a testament to how good they all are at it, because it looks so seamless and so effortless on camera, I think. And they don't just see, like, these are really talented people doing a really good, talented job to make it look like
I think
that's simple.
The one person who made it really easy, though, was Lindsay, because Lindsay would open up a lot of, like, sections in the conversation to kind of push me
Lindsay's
and
really
other,
good
like,
at that,
like Kai and BK into the conversation and kind of uplift us. So they've been a lifesaver with that, because it allows all the new people to feel like we have a moment to, like, get our piece in and be a part of what's going on. Yeah. So that definitely helped a lot.
It's always good to have someone who's very socially aware like that of what's going on.
It's like one of those like bullet trains that never stops, and you just kind of jump on, and you know, when it's off the races, you just never know where to jump in those early days. It's hard. Lindsay is a great facilitator, though. They handle that role very well. Jack used to do a pretty good job of that too. I know he's old and lame now, but you know.
Well, actually, you know what? Because Jack's been on sabbatical, so I haven't seen much of him since I moved. I don't think I saw him at all until like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, because he hasn't really been in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, he comes in. We do annual pass, but yeah.
And I know Gavin's been like busy with some other stuff that he's been working on, so he's been out of the office and off the podcast. Obviously, you guys have noticed that, I'm sure, for a little bit. But
yeah, he lost a bet on fuckface that he has to do on this podcast. So people want him to come back so he can do the bet.
Oh no!
Is that why he's been avoiding us?
Yeah, he went to England to avoid wearing 64 pieces of clothes at once on this podcast.
Is that what it is?
64 pieces of clothes.
He and Andrew had a bet. They bet that Andrew couldn't beat Donkey Kong 64 in 48 hours, 44 hours, and if they did, then Donkey Kong Country, is that what it is? I don't know, the long one.
64 is like the 3D platformer.
With Lanky Kong.
Yeah, that's 64.
Yeah.
And so he had to beat it start to finish or 100% it in like 48 hours.
There's
And he did
you
it.
could look up like a speed run for like 7 minutes probably.
Yeah, but they had to be 100%.
Okay,
So there was a bunch of shit he had to collect and stuff.
Yeah.
And he did it. And if he hadn't done it, he would have to eat a banana every day for 64 days. Can't stand bananas, which is I don't get, but whatever. And then Gavin has to wear 64 items of clothing. So since Andrew
like
did
the
it
banana thing is
easily, turns out 44 hours is a ton of time.
Yeah. And he did it. Can't wait to have him on.
Yeah. So next time you see Gavin, he's gonna.
You should just have him wear 64 socks.
Andrew gets to pick,
See,
so we'll see.
He gets to
See if
pick
he can walk around properly with
Yeah, you
that.
could wear like some scarves. You could wear like a few gloves. There's a way to divvy it up. I think that looks
Rings,
manageable.
are those count or is that cheating?
That probably is like jewelry.
Yeah, that's jewelry. It's
Over, like, clothing.
accoutrement.
Yeah, I guess you guys have to specify.
I have nothing to do with it. It's whatever Andrew says. Andrew gets to pick. So
All right. Well, it's about time to wrap up the main podcast, but we're going to be doing the post show right after this. So if you are a first member, you'll be able to watch that very soon. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you buy your tickets for Achievement Hunter Live. See them on tour. The normal podcast tour, we're doing the RT podcast on April 1st. And just have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you guys.
bye.